Welcome back to the Mentality Matters podcast with Jason and Jahni.
Yo, what's good, y'all? Sorry for the delay. We've been trying to work out the schedule stuff, since we both been working and stuff like that. So we've just been trying to figure out a day, but we're here today. So, let's get this started, man.
Yeah.
So we were supposed to have a guest today, but, my boy Deshaun, I grew up with him since I was like 11 years old, but he had work today until 10 o'clock. So unfortunately, he couldn't be here today. But all right.
Yeah, we're gonna get into it now.
Yeah.
Shout out Dave, first of all. We're gonna try to get him on, either next episode or the upcoming episodes. But the first segment we really wanted to, talk about the importance of mental health. It's one of the topics that we want to talk about, just everything like with real life examples, real life situations that we've been through regarding mental health. So
Yeah, because for us, mental health is pretty important. There's a lot of people suffering from depression and anxiety and stuff like that, and a lot of stress that people build up. I know I was a person, for example, who was under a lot of stress for a very long time, and I didn't let it out for more than a year until, I went to my closest friends, like Deshaun was one of them. I expressed myself, and it took a lot of weight off my shoulders, because I feel like it's a lot to carry. And it's very important to let it all out. Don't just shelter it in. Hopefully for people that have anxiety or they're depressed and have a lot on their mind, hopefully they seek others to let all their feelings out so they don't feel overwhelmed and have too much on their shoulders.
no, yeah. So we just wanted to talk about like real life stories, and I'll go first. So I'll bring y'all back to junior year of high school, 17 years old. We had just finished, I was on JV that year. So, that already like was messing with me like mentally and stuff like that. The goal that summer, that summer I put in, work to like try to get better, at, all fashions of the game. But, ultimately I got put on JV. And the goal was for me to move up at some point, but, that didn't happen. The season was really up and down. I had a relatively like decent first game. But I just remember, man, just like being so unmotivated, like hating the game, like not even want to play. And, basketball was like one of the things that made me the happiest in my life. And it really wasn't fun for me anymore. So I just started lashing out on the people that love me. And it was other variables too, just dealing with, having a father that was in my life, but, was very neglectful, and I felt like he wasn't there for me emotionally, and that really, hurt me. And I was just going through that, having that on and off, like back and forth with him. And that was a hard thing to deal with. And I just sheltered it all inside, in my head. I remember those days of just waking up every day, looking myself in the mirror, like not even knowing like who I really am. And it's like I said, just being really unmotivated for the first time ever in my life, just lashing out on the people that I love. My mom, for example, my sister, my grandparents, just not speaking, just acting very out of character. And then finally my mom just said like, oh, let's try therapy. I wasn't for it at the time because, my mindset at that age was the mindset that, I was taught as a kid, that men, are supposed to keep these feelings in. Like you gotta be hardcore all the time. You gotta be tough, you gotta keep it inside, vulnerability. Like you can't really show it. But my mom finally told me, like, let's go to a therapist. Let's try to see. Because, even at that time, like, I was trying to, like, transfer schools and because I thought that it would give me the better opportunity to play. But ultimately, I believe that it would have given me the better opportunity to play. but it wasn't right for me like academically, and it basically would have been me running away from the deeper issues that I was going through. So, I'm glad that didn't end up happening. But started going to therapy, at first, like, I again really didn't say much, like, of what I said a little bit of what I was going through, but like, again, like, it really was a process to the point now, 3 years later, 20 years old, I'm able to sit here, and talk to you guys about this, and just dealing with that, because now, like, I see things differently, now going through that, it gives me a more like positive aspect of life and just enjoying like life more. And like, even during that time, like basketball, like, it's really just a game at the end of the day. And then the other things that I was going through, like talking to people that I love, like venting to them and just telling them like how I'm feeling, like being emotional, like knowing that being emotional is okay, like that shouldn't be frowned upon and stuff like that. And really just dealing with that. But it's a day by day process. Like, it didn't happen overnight. Like, being able to talk about these things, like, I could have never imagined like saying these things 3 years later, like, and then the growth as a person, like, it really, like, therapy like really changed my life and changed my whole perspective. So shout out to my therapist. So
Nah, that's good because what's it called? Me, I've went through a couple of things. It was mainly it started off in middle school. My sixth grade year, I remember I had Spanish, and me, I'm not from a Spanish speaking household, so it was new to me. At first, I was a little bit interested, but after like a good month, it just kept getting more difficult and difficult. I wasn't understanding, so I was falling behind. And halfway through the year, I just slacked off, and I hid stuff from my mom and my whole family because I just didn't feel like doing it. And when my older brother came home one day, he was looking for basketball shoes, and he went in the closet. In the closet, I had a basket, and I put stuff on top of all the work. And he was looking through that basket, and then found all my stuff. And then there was also recent stuff that I was hiding under my bed. And it wasn't just Spanish anymore. It was everything that I was doing with like math, history, and stuff like that. So I was overwhelmed. First transition from elementary to middle school. I know a lot of people been through it, transitioning from elementary to middle school, because instead of just taking and being in one classroom all day, you go to six different periods, and it was just like overwhelming for me. And I just took the easy way out and just gave up. But when my mom found out, I was punished for it severely. And after that, I feel like I grew up a little bit. I wasn't in a household with two parents. It was just me, my mom, my little brother. My dad, I did start speaking to him around that time. So when I got in trouble, he contacted my mom contacted him. We would talk. And I feel like him coming in changed a lot for me, because I feel like if he never stepped in, then I wouldn't have been the person I am today. And I would have just gave up on a lot of things. Growing up, I had a little thing where I would start off school strong, and if it got a little difficult, I stepped back, became lazy and stuff like that. And I've been doing it from sixth grade to 10th grade. My junior year of high school, everything changed. I feel like I became a better person, even though I had things going on. Middle school, I know I had my first love in middle school. She moved, but that took a little bit of a toll on me. I would talk to a lot of people, and I'd cut them off after, because I'd always felt like they would leave me and stuff like that. And it took a little while for me to get over that. I hid my feelings for over a year and a half. So from freshman year all the way to almost the end of my sophomore year. And after that, I talked to my friends. That's when I first started talking to Jason. A little bit before that, talked to Jason a little bit about that. So spoke to my best friends, and just letting it all out. It was better for me because I was really stressed out with the quarantine. Going to sleep and skipping classes and stuff like that, piling up on work. So it was just a lot, and me letting it all out took a lot off my shoulders. And after that, I felt like because of those changes and because of me letting out my feelings, I matured and became a better person, and it's part of the reason who I am today. But senior year was a little difficult because, like I said, the last episode where that football game messed my leg up, I was going through a lot. I was really stressed out, depressed. I wouldn't let a lot of people in and let them know that I'm depressed. I just spoke, put a smile on my face, and just kept it moving. But when I was by myself, I tended to break down a lot. But I didn't have the therapy like Jason had. But what's it called? When I spoke my mind out, I went through it day by day, and it got better and better. And it's just very important for you to realize that keeping stuff in, and even when you're stressed out and stuff like that, that it's not okay to keep it in for a long time. Once you realize that you have something on your mind and you need to talk to somebody, just find out who your person is and who your circle is for you to let all that out, and it'll just get better and better.
Yeah, like I feel like resilience is like really like a key word for both of us. Like the things that we've been through in our lives, like you know, my grandma, being diagnosed with cancer, and my mom last year, like all in the same year, freshman year, and just seeing how the resilient that they were, and in turn, like seeing, it was difficult, man. It really was. Seeing, my grandma had stage 3, so she had to go through chemo. My mom, they caught it right before it was forming, so like stage 0. Thank God for that. But just seeing that, seeing my grandma persevere, seeing my mom persevere, it gave me the motivation, every day to be strong for them. Just allowing myself, like, if I wasn't okay, to like that I'm not okay. You know what I mean? Speaking my mind, like we've been saying, and like, cause realistically, man, like we both been saying, like keeping it inside, like is only gonna like hurt you
It's gonna
more.
make it worse.
It's gonna make it worse. And you like, it's not easy for everyone. You know what I mean? Like when you're raised that way, it's hard to like to do that. But I mean, I knew once I did it, like I felt 10 times better. And again, it's like I said, it's really a day by day process. Like it's really a day by day process that you have to take in today, and like so you have to celebrate the small wins as much as you want. We're so like future based. You know what I mean? That like we forget like all the steps that like we took to get here, and
Yeah, it doesn't just happen overnight.
yeah,
What's it called? It was a process for it, and sometimes people forget that there was a process to get to where they are today.
yeah,
And for us, thankfully, that we never forget what we had to go through in our past, which led us here today. So,
yeah.
just
And we put the work in, but like our families, like just the village that we have around us, helped us too. So shout out to
yeah,
them.
shout out to my mom,
Yeah, shout out
my
moms.
little brother, my older brother, all my family members, my dad. Even though I'm not really close to my dad like that, I feel like that's more of a me and him thing we got going on. Cause me, I feel like I don't really reach out to my dad. I could, but I feel like it's not just me who should. It's like both sides,
Yeah,
but we're getting through that. But even when I was at my lowest at times, he was there for me, gave me support. But no one gives it the most. And my mom's been there for me since day one, every step of the way. She's done a lot for me, especially raising me, my little brother, and my older brother. Single mom, so it was a lot for her. But she raised us, and I'm glad that she raised the man that I am today. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I gotta shout out moms too, my mom, my grandma, they're two of the strongest people that I know. To be able to go through that and, keep a smile on their face, even through the tough times, and just sacrificing so much for me and my sisters. I want to shout out my sisters as well because, I wouldn't be able to go through this journey of life without them, to see them persevere. They went through, same thing with my dad and stuff like that. To see them persevere, to see them like grow as people. It rubs off on you, even, us being the older brothers, like it really rubs off, like my sisters inspire me. I know, like for you, Janique, he
Yeah,
inspires you as well.
he
Like
does.
the hard work they put in every day, we see that, and just the growth, man. Truthfully, like I wouldn't change anything that's ever happened in my life. It all happened for a reason, man. So
Yeah, I feel that. What's it called? Feel like everything that happens is for a reason. You know, it's God giving us a challenge, and He wants to see if we're gonna overcome it. And for us, we have, and it made us stronger. So, I wouldn't change a lot, except for the fact that my leg is iffy since I messed it up the other day. But besides that, I wouldn't change anything.
nah, we're blessed, man, today. And then like I know for me, like even saying that, like how before, like how when I looked myself in the mirror like 3 years ago, I didn't know who I was. I mean, being proud enough to say, after like years of work, and we all have bad days, but just being able to look myself in the mirror and like really know who I am now and have that identity about myself and not pretending,
Yeah,
because I know like for me, I pretended a lot going through those things. Like I would pretend that I was okay, but in reality, like man, I was really going through some stuff. So
yeah. Because for me, I feel like the me from my freshman year, if he was to see the person I am today, he'd be surprised because that me was very immature and was lacking the respect for my peers and a lot of people. But me, I grew up, I matured, and I'm just happy I am the person I am today. So
no, yeah,
yeah, so
we
I
just
know you
wanted to
started
share.
up work and stuff. So you been good?
Yeah, I've
Been
been
going
good,
good?
man. I've been good. Work's been good. Just blessed, man. Just like I said, man, just really blessed to just wake up every day, get to work this job, get to do this.
That's
Like,
good. Got a new group of kids and
no, it's really the same, kids every day. Yeah.
nah,
How's work for you though, bro?
it's easy.
Easy.
Even though at times, that it be some customers, who give off a little attitude here and there.
Yeah.
But, mainly I'm outside. I'm bringing the carts in, so it's not really that difficult. But, the older people, I have to drive the cart outside to them
Yeah.
sometimes. So, just glad I get to help those people out because, some of them, they're there by themselves. They don't have a lot of people that they could get the help from instead of them going to the store themselves. I'd be feeling bad sometimes, especially for the elderly, who doesn't have like a group of people to help them, like a group of family,
Yeah. Yeah.
like having like their children or grandchildren sometimes. But besides that, works pretty good. I've been doing cashier a little bit, so pisses me off sometimes,
Yeah.
that people come in and spend like $500 worth of stuff. Like, I remember this one time, it was like 3 weeks ago, this guy came in and bought like 40 bags of steak fries, man. And I'm like, my boy, like, you're just gonna sit there and just eat fries all day? Like, he was like, oh yeah, I'm throwing a party, I was like, just the steak fries, man. Like he was like, oh no, yeah, that's it,
Nah,
man.
yeah. Hey,
I
man.
mean, I was like, oh okay, man.
You gotta do you at
You
the
got to
end,
do
man.
you, man.
Yeah.
I guess if your group of people want to steak fries, they want steak fries.
Nah,
But
yeah.
I don't. Cashiers are right. It's easy. Don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but like I feel like when it's slow, the time just goes by too slow.
Facts. Yeah.
But when it gets busy, I may say sometimes like I don't like it when it's busy, but when it's busy, the time just goes by flying.
Yeah.
But I did self checkout last week. That easiest job in the world. I just sit there. If something's wrong with the machine, tap the card. I luckily there's a video that's on the display screen. So like if someone like tries to steal or something, it picks it
Yeah.
up. And like I get to be like, oh yeah, now you try to steal. Me scan that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, work is pretty good. I worked Monday. Got that holiday pay. It's pretty good. Even though I only worked two days this week, I still got paid a good amount of money. So,
Yeah.
since that holiday, it's pretty good. So, yeah.
No, yeah. Now we want to get into the NBA topics. So
Oh, the NBA
a
topics,
lot has
man.
happened since we've been away.
Yeah,
Second round of the playoffs,
second round we
and
missed
now
out,
conference
man.
finals. The Knicks are currently playing right now. I'm not sure.
Yeah, yo, I'm not
I'm
gonna
not sure what the
lie.
score is, but
Well, what you know what? We're gonna check the score right
nah,
now
yeah,
because
we gotta
one
check
of the
the score right
topics
now.
that we was gonna talk about was Karl Anthony Towns being questionable. Do we think
Yeah,
the Knicks can make it tonight?
yeah,
So
yeah,
last time I checked, they was up at halftime.
yeah.
So
We got we gotta check.
we're gonna check this right now, all right? And I'm gonna read out the stats for y'all. You know what I'm saying? So right now. It's the third quarter, 8 minutes 49 seconds. All right. The Pacers are down 50-66. I'm gonna read the stats right now. Halliburton, 1 for 5, 6 points, 1 rebound, 3 assists. He has a block and a steal though. All right. Siakam, 4 points, 2 assists. He's shooting 3 for 9 right now. Um, what's it called? Turner, 5 points, be shooting 2 for 2. Neesmith got 3, shooting 1 for 4, so it's kind of iffy. Obi Toppin, he's shooting 2 for 6 off the bench. Matherin, 2 for 4 with 6. Shepard has 3 off the bench. All right, let's look at the Knicks. Karl Anthony Towns is playing tonight. 17 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, shooting 7 for 11, 1 for 2 from
That's good
3.
stuff right
Yo,
there.
that's great stuff. He has 2 fouls. All right.
2 fouls.
That's not bad. Usually he has 3 before the first half. So, that's pretty good. Brunson, 22 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists,
There
9
you
for
go.
14, 3 for 5 from 3. Okay, all right. Anunoby, 6 points, 2 for 8. 0 for 2 from 3, 2 for 2 at the free throw line. Macau, 2 for 6, 0 for 2 with 4 points. Oh, okay. They started Mitchell Robinson today. Robinson has 6 points, 6 rebounds, 3 for 3. Josh Hart, 5 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 for 3. Shamit, 3 points. He hit a 3. Okay. All right. See, now this game, all right, from what I've seen in the past, which I seen last round, Mikal Bridges in the fourth quarter. All right,
Yeah, locking stuff
he
down.
locks it. Yeah, he locks
Getting
stuff
buckets,
down,
too.
gets buckets. All right, I remember he won Celtics game. I forgot which game it was. He smacked like 12 points in a row, and he only had like 4. So like, I was like, okay. So right now he's doing iffy, but Brunson and Towns is doing their thing. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see if that goes to a game 7. I know his cousin is the happiest in the world right now. One of the biggest Knicks fans I know. He's watching the game as we speak. He told me he's putting it on before I left the house. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, but that's good for them.
Man, we just want to talk about obviously there's been some teams that have been bounced out. The Celtics, sending a speedy recovery to Tatum.
Yeah, for real. Prayers up to him. He was doing real good that game. He was probably on the verge of dropping 50 that game.
Yeah. One of the best players in the league, man. He's young. He'll be back stronger than ever. There's no doubt in
Exactly.
my mind.
No doubt in my mind.
And they'll be back. They'll be competing for years and years. There's no doubt in my mind that they're gonna figure it out this summer. They're gonna have to make some changes. Guys are gonna have to leave. The new CBA.
Some guys are going to have to step up because their star player, one of their star players is gone for the season. So they're going to have to try and switch things up offensively and defensively.
Sure.
Tatum was able to literally do everything. He's
best player on the team. Hands down, not even close. So.
Not trying to glaze, but Tatum's He's a perfect basketball player.
Like,
What can he not do? You know, if you need rebounds, he'll go and get rebounds. So if you need him to defend somebody who's a little bigger than him or a guard, he could guard it. You know, if you need a quick three, sidestep three. You know, he plays aggressive when he has to. You know, he can do everything.
no, yeah, I just feel like, man, this injury is like gonna be a whole nother like test for him and just test of motivation. To be honest with you, and I know like for me like watching him play like there's a lot that there's stuff that he can improve on, but like there's no doubt in my mind that he's gonna use this as fuel, and like I said, he's gonna
It's
come
gonna
back.
motivate him to get even better, be a better player than he was now.
Not yet. So obviously, the Warriors lost too.
Yeah, Curry didn't play a few games. Was it his hand?
Hamstring.
Yeah, hamstring. Okay, yeah. So I know he wasn't playing for that. They
that-
put up a good fight,
Yeah.
but there was times that they was down by like 20. So I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. Shout out to Julius. I mean, I know the Timberwolves lost, but like shout out to Julius Randle. They lost last night as well. Shout out to Julius Randle. He had a great playoff run, other than those 2 games that he didn't play so well.
Yeah,
But he was hooping, man.
I'm not gonna lie. That boy was hooping. You know, it gets me mad because I was supporting my Lakers, and Julius Randle just frying Luca. You know that he was getting his buckets, man. I can't even be mad because if you're hot, you're hot, and he was consistent. Anthony Edwards, he had his games. You know, there was some games he didn't play well, but the games that he did play very well, it was a good result. They fought hard. The Timberwolves fought hard, but the Thunder wanted it more. I mean,
Man, for me, bro, like I know, like bro, like both of our finals picks were wrong.
yeah,
If I were to pick right, like I think the Thunder are gonna win it all. I'm gonna be honest with you.
yeah.
The Pacers are on a hot streak right now. I know they're not playing well right now.
Yeah.
But if they handle business like we both believe they're probably gonna do, then they should. Hopefully, it's a series. But I just feel like, but with the Thunder, bro, 1 through 12, everyone could get a bucket.
Yeah.
Shea, when he gets to that mid range, is unstoppable. I know like free throw margin. I know he's
Free throw.
A lot of people say that, but
Hurts
like
it.
he gets to the line, man. I can respect it. And bro, like I said, that mid range is deadly. He probably has one of the best mid ranges in the whole league.
Yeah.
Bro, and he just plays winning basketball, bro. And when J-Dub is like cooking like he was, man, like they're tough to beat. And if Chet is gonna get 20 points too, like
That's
they're
also
unbeatable,
good for
man.
them because that is unbeatable. If you have 3 players that's putting up more than 20 points and they're doing their job on defense, man, because J-Dub is a great defender.
Yeah.
When Chet's defending well, it's really a great game. And if all 3 of them, combine for more than 20 on the stat line, and it's
Bro,
over.
they got dogs on there too, like Casey
Dort.
Wallace, Alex Caruso, like they're all locking down, getting buckets.
Exactly. So,
Isaiah Joe, like one of their best shooters on the team, like, and they're only gonna. The scary thing is that they're only gonna get better, man.
because they're such a young team, it's only
They got a shit ton of draft picks. Like
it's ridiculous, man. But
they're really building a juggernaut over there.
I
But
feel like it should be a good series because the Pacers, in my opinion, they're like a great all-around team. They have players that could do, like, defend the 1 through the 5. Like Turner, he's a great defender. He could guard the perimeter and in the paint. So
Yeah.
he could do it all. You know what I'm saying? And plus he's tall. He's getting the rebounds. You know what I'm saying? But if we got Halliburton, spreading the floor, doing his magic, he's been playing real great. He's been playing like a superstar. So
Oh, yeah.
what's it called? A superstar caliber player. He's been playing like, so if he's been, even though he's not doing that well right now, if he's been playing the way he's been playing this series, man, it's gonna be a great series. It could go to 6 or 7, depending on how well both teams play. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
man, but I know the other team that lost were the Cavs.
Yeah.
They underperformed, man. Honestly, I had greater expectations for them.
I had way high
But
expectations for them.
they gotta. I don't know what they gotta do this summer. They gotta look at their team, bro. Because bro, I feel like now more than ever, man. Like the emphasis the regular season. The regular season is important, right? Seeding is important to a certain extent, but like, bro, when you really think about it, man, like, bro, playoff basketball is just different, bro. The game is slows down. It's really a half court offense, half court defense. and
Yeah.
it's really who wants it more, bro. Like who wants to win that game more. And we're seeing some of the best basketball that we've seen in a while. So, and then
Yeah.
there's parity in the league, man. Like, growing up, we would see LeBron every year in the finals, Steph Curry,
Every
like
year,
KD.
him, Curry. No, and it was the playoffs, man. It was great to watch back in the day. You see LeBron, you see, back in the day, the Celtics, the big three. You know what I'm saying? You see Kevin Durant, Westbrook, and the Thunder, and then years later after that, it was LeBron and his Cavs with Kyrie against Curry, Clay, Draymond, Harrison Barnes,
No, yeah.
Andre Iguodala. It was
And then
just
you
a
got
great
KD
time.
to
And
that
then
mix.
KD went to the Warriors and they became a super team. You know what I'm saying? It upsets me because had to beat my goat, but it took all of them to beat him because 2018 LeBron. I don't care what anybody says. All right, y'all can hate. All right, but that is the best player to touch a basketball.
Nah,
2018
he
LeBron.
was
Yo,
he was going stupid, man.
Lathanos. You was not stopping that man. Absolutely not. But
They could
now
watch the tape too. Like the games, like
oh,
were insane,
it
bro.
was insane, man. LeBron would be down a certain amount of points when it was just him, when KD was there. All right. So back in 2018, they'd be down by like 15. LeBron gets that spark, you know, comes up the court, pulls up a three, it's going in. Also had clutch shooter Kevin Love, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So that was pretty good. But it was just that was peak basketball. But now as we're getting older, we got to realize, that
Second generation,
that generation's done.
there might
It's coming
not.
to an
Yeah,
end. I know LeBron has probably one season left in him, because he's doing his player option contract, I believe. I seen it yesterday.
yeah,
Kevin Durant, he might have like a good 2 years
yeah,
left in him. Curry, 2, 3,
yeah.
but this next generation, man, it's they're looking good.
And then like, bro, I mentioned like, we were talking before this, like this new CBA, like they're really gonna be strict with like how much money that you could spend. So like all those max deals that we're seeing, like I seen that like Shea is eligible like with the MVP and everything, first team, that he could literally sign 5 years, 380 mil, like
And that's a
stupid
lot of
money,
money. Stupid
crazy money,
money that we need. Like they just handing it out
yeah,
to him. Like, yeah.
crazy money. But he deserves it, man. Well deserved. But like at the end of the day, like you got to think about the team as well, because signing that deal, like a lot of those role players, they want to get money too. So you really got to look and see like who you're gonna lose. But man, that team is like a juggernaut. Like the next man up is probably like nuts, man. We don't even know, and they have a lottery pick that hasn't even played yet, Nikola Topit. Like he didn't
Oh,
play at all.
oh,
He was one of
oh,
the he was one of the best
yeah.
players in Europe, and Europe, the European leagues over there, like they're no joke. That's the second best league in
That's
the
the
world.
second best league in the world, man. If you like want to play basketball overseas and you think Europe's the way to go, I promise you're gonna have a very difficult challenge ahead of you because they're second to the NBA, and the NBA is very like intense. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
different
It's
brand
just
of
a
basketball too.
different brand. You have to. There's a lot you have to do, a lot you have to sacrifice, and the amount of work that you have to put in to get into the NBA. It's a lot, and so for you, if you want to go to the European League, I feel like what's it called? They play more aggressive over there, and there's a lot of people who's gonna come out from overseas, come into the league, and they're just gonna dominate the league. So, man,
Yeah,
it's
man.
just a lot.
Nah, a lot to be taught. Like, even like, I want to like switch it a little bit. Like,
Yeah,
even Dallas getting the number one pick in the draft, like, that was crazy. I've never like, but I mean, we're starting to see that the NBA like is that was really questionable because even like LeBron landing in Cleveland hometown team, like that was nuts. That, but like it made sense. Like again, like the Mavericks getting another generational talent is like insane. Over like after they traded Luca, I still feel that was a stupid trade.
it was the dumbest, one of the stupidest trades
Yeah,
known to men. Because why are you giving up your franchise player? All right, I get that they wanted to win now, but like Luca, it doesn't matter if he's in shape. Odyssey, Luca could still give you 30 plus a game.
yeah,
Like he showed it when they played them that I'm still him. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, you got rid of me, but look what I did to you. And you had your players that you traded me for, and you
Yeah.
still couldn't beat me. You know what I'm saying? But they do have another lottery pick. You know, they're gonna have another generational player on their team. You know, whoever they pick up.
He's a
You know,
win now guy too. Like
yeah.
he's really
So
like he plays both ends. Like he doesn't take plays off like that. And he's young too. He's 18 years old, bro. It's only up from here, bro. And for him, like he's going into a great situation too. Like a lot of guys, will go to like, I know the Wizards were like a lot of people wanted the Wizards to get to pick the
yeah,
Hornets. Like he's going into a good situation where they want to win. Like and he won at Duke. He didn't win the big game, but
he
at the
won.
end of the day, he's a winner. He won in high school. Like he wants to win. You know what I mean? Well, they all want to win.
Everybody wants to
Yeah,
win.
there's no one that wants to
You
lose.
could see his dedication, and you could see it in the way he plays that he's gonna win. You can
No,
see
yeah.
it when he plays. But
And then a lot of talk about Giannis and that number 2 pick. Like whoever Giannis is gonna go, because he said that he for the first time in his career, like he's open to like leaving. You know what I mean? And
yep,
that's scary for Milwaukee as a team that plays in a small market.
yeah,
Milwaukee. Like if he bounces, man, like if they let him go, like that team is gonna have to go through another rebuild. And
yeah, because Giannis made Milwaukee like big again since Kareem
he won them their
won
first
their
chip
first
in like
chip.
50 years,
Yeah,
man. So
so
generational talent, one of the best, like the second best player in the league in my opinion. Behind
yeah,
Jokic. So
yep. You know,
um,
it's gonna be very difficult if he leaves for the Milwaukee franchise because Giannis he gets you the wins. You know what I'm saying? Giannis, I mean Dame as well.
speedy
Dame,
recovery to Dame
yeah, speedy
too.
recovery for him. But when Dame is healthy, and he's consistent when he plays, both of them on the floor, it's a great duo. But Giannis leaving like really impacts them in a devastating way. So
We're gonna see though. Like we're gonna
yeah,
see because like again, the Spurs can shock the world, man. Because the reports were saying that like he doesn't want to go. If he wanted to go anywhere, like he would want to go to like a team in a state with no income tax, and like Texas has no income tax.
yo, and I
And
promise you, man, if
if that
I see
happens,
Wembanyama and Giannis on the same team, I'm going to lose my goddamn mind because
that's
why?
gonna be
Why is that like legal? Like that should not be happening.
two unicorns on the same team
It's
is
ridiculous. Two
nuts.
7-foot giants. Like, come on. Like, and what's it called? Wemby said. I said Wemby. Giannis said Wemby makes Giannis look small. Like,
Nah, yeah.
like so. Just imagine Wemby's moving like a guard. All right, Giannis is getting to the rack. So like, you got Giannis in the paint dominating. All right, you got Wemby just at the three, midi. It don't even matter. Like,
Nah, he could literally play the four.
He could literally play the four, bro. It doesn't even matter. Or if I forgot they have De'Aaron Fox, but they'll probably get rid of De'Aaron Fox for that. And a couple of picks in the upcoming years. Who knows? But if that happens, man, that's gonna be ridiculous.
Nah, yeah, a lot about where KD's gonna end up too.
I've been seeing that he might end up on the Rockets.
I don't know, man. For
That's a
me,
little iffy with me.
yeah, for me, bro, I'll be honest with you, bro. I could see, Minnesota. I feel like they needed like another scorer, man. To be honest with you, putting him on that team, I know he's older, but I feel like he could still get buckets
Yeah,
if he stays relatively healthy. Like he could help them out, but I don't know who they would trade for him, to be honest. Like if you have to give up McDaniels, you don't even like do that. And I'm a big fan of KD, but like you don't do that. Like you
you're
don't.
not getting rid of McDaniels,
Yeah.
KD, because McDaniels is one of the best defenders on your team. You're not just gonna give up a defensive stronghold for just one scorer.
And he's been getting
You know what
better
I'm
like
saying?
every
Yeah,
year.
he's
Like
been
he's
getting better
been like changing
every
his
year.
bag.
That's
Yeah.
been progressing. He's been getting better and better. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So like, not even that is like crazy. But we wanted to start winding down with the pod. We just want to thank you guys for like the support on the first video. We're grateful for it to all family and friends, supporters that watched it. We want to thank y'all. Anything you want to say, Jay?
yeah, we appreciate every single one of y'all. You know what I'm saying, for tuning in, showing your love for us, and we just started this, but we're trying to make it big and make this like a big thing, worldwide, so everybody could tune in. So for the people that's here supporting us and viewing us now, we really appreciate and love every single one of you guys. What's it called? My mom just talked to me like before I left the house. I was gonna tell her about the podcast like as soon as I got home. To,
Yeah.
like, show her the video and stuff. But when I got home, she was like, "Oh, you didn't tell me about the podcast and stuff like that." So shout out to mom. How I apologize, but yeah, man. Shout out to Deshaun, who couldn't make it today, getting that money, you know what I'm saying? No, it's all right, you can hop on the next one. Maybe him and Justin,
Yeah.
could be on the next one because, man, if the Knicks go to 7 and if they win,
Yeah.
he's gonna have a field
I
day
know,
on
man.
here, you know what I'm saying? I want to shout out to the crew, you know what I'm saying? This place is dope. They did their best to set this up. It looks pretty great. So we're gonna
Shout out Conversations.
yeah,
Real
man.
Podcast studio.
Conversation
Shout out
podcast studio, man. We really appreciate y'all. Gonna make this a weekly thing. Once again, from what we said in the beginning, we apologize for the delay. We're trying to figure out our schedules and stuff, and get the certain amount of money to split it 50-50 that we needed to come here and have a better wide set and range of camera angles and stuff like that for y'all, so to make it better. So even though this video is a little shorter than we expected it to be, compared to the last episode that was an hour long, right?
Like 50 minutes.
Like 50 minutes, yeah, but what's it called? Next week, we're going to have a lot to talk about, especially that the NBA season's coming to an end, the finals about to start, you know what I'm saying? What's it called? We're going to get into the football stuff coming soon because, man, I seen that college football trailer, man. Oh, college football 26, that looks smooth.
We're going to talk about the transfer portal and stuff like the transfer portal. I know they closed it a while back, but even that, like, guys transferring, like, we'll talk about that as well.
Yeah.
But, a lot of shout outs on our end, shout out moms, shout out the family, shout out my sisters.
Yeah,
shout out the boys,
Yo, shout out the way you at, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
boy. Love you, boy, the way you at. Got, like I said, Justin already, shout out my boy Josh.
Yeah.
My boy Derek, you know what I'm saying? Might have a little social media, manager.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? We're about to start making this professional. Don't mind my bummy fits though, you know what I'm saying? My bad. I'm gonna look a little better next week. I just don't got the cut this week. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking a little rough.
Yeah.
But yeah. Shout out to the family, man. My sisters is at the Beyonce concert in New York, so they're living it. But appreciate y'all.
Appreciate y'all for tuning in. We're gonna edit this, and next week we're gonna try and film and more episodes to come. So
Yeah.
thank y'all for tuning in. So appreciate y'all.